Oh, interesting CO picks.
We have Sigrid from Captain Rainbow on player 1 side versus
Yeah.
Wulfar from Alsame on player 2. So definitely seeing Alsame bring out the big boys for this one.
And Sigrid, like we've seen we've seen a lot of Sigrid on like round 1, and then she just vanished from round 2, so it's interesting to see her come back like this.
Yeah, I mean, she isn't considered particularly, I was gonna say good, but I mean, she definitely has plays, but there's other commanders that are stronger than her. But this is also a map that has golems as like a big feature, so I don't exactly hate the idea of seeing Sigrid here. And she can do stuff like be very aggressive in the center, for example, because she will get lifesteal as an option. Allows her to push and be aggressive.
Yeah, I suppose, but I mean, if you're looking at what Alsame is doing, he's putting a lot of pressure on the HQ right now. So, not sure how that's gonna go.
That is true. I mean, for all I know, we're only 15 minutes into this round. Oh, but here we go. We're actually at like live in the match now.
Yep.
You've caught up to real time.
So about Sigrid and golems, I think on this map golems are good, but you can probably get away with just a lot of knights. Because like there's multiple paths that potentially can potentially be opened to crit the HQ. And when Wargroove is involved, you have more trouble blocking them. So there's some of that, I guess. And there's also the fact that if Sigrid isn't near her HQ, that doesn't really matter if there's a golem there. I guess you could have the same argument about Sigrid removing a blocker from the Night Crit path, but with medium charge groove as a trade-off for the healing.
I do think that though, because she has healing, she can be more of a bully in the center and build groove faster. So there is like that definite advantage, whereas like a Wulfar would take damage and he potentially has to pull back if he gets low enough on health, whereas Sigrid has the option of just killing a unit with her groove to get her health back.
Yeah, that's true, but so far center has not been contested by Alsame at all, and I mean he's taking his time to think now. I think he's gonna plan to aim for the HQ directly, because now that he's that far behind on income, he has to choose to either commit completely to the HQ, which is quite risky because with that much income deficit, if you don't kill it in a few turns, then the game is gonna be over. But he could also choose to not commit to it and just go back to capturing villages and just accept that he's been behind for a bit. And I'm not sure what he's gonna go for.
So he takes down the soldier, he sets up one knight crit. So we're gonna have to start seeing knights come in as blockers here.
Well, Wulfar has groove, so that's gonna be a bit dangerous. I think since Wulfar isn't at full HP, a sword is better as a blocker. Well, to block Wulfar at least.
I imagine we're gonna have to see something like the sword, the mage, and the knights are just gonna have to completely block this headquarters, and any kind of like hit on them is gonna have to be like counter-attacked by whatever he builds out of this racks next, because there's nothing really else coming up from Captain Rainbow's side. I also should note, the person who loses this doesn't go through. Like guaranteed. So this is both of their tournament lives on the line in this match.
Yeah, pretty high stakes, I guess. And something interesting for the defense is that you can choose to just capture villages. And if you have the 2 villages, they block all the paths for the night crits. Unless they're standing on the forest on top. And I really like what Captain Rainbow is doing, capturing the village and putting the mage on the knight. So Alsame is going to have to commit actions to either decap villages or remove the unit standing in front of the HQ. And basically what will happen is if Captain Rainbow can defend from this early HQ push, they're gonna have a huge advantage in this game.
Something I'm curious about, the sword crit. I know they decap 50 health villages. I can't remember if they can do it on 60 consistently.
Well, 60 would be a coin flip since they do 40 average.
Right. So he could potentially use the sword to clear out the 60 health village, which would allow him to open up some more paths, but...
Yeah, but you don't really have anything to one-shot the sword. And do you want to use Wargroove on a sword? I'm not sure.
I mean, I guess if the situation calls for it, it could work, but yeah, that's an awkward spot to attack into. And Captain Rainbow has 1600 in the bank right now, so we could see a Golem come out and be used for defense. We could see a Treb come out, potentially.
Yeah, Treb is pretty good. I also like Ballista in some very niche situations, but I think Treb would just be better because you basically kill whatever steps to attack your HQ. The Knight coming can also crit something attacking from the sword spot right after being built. So Knight is also a very good option. But it can kind of be blocked if you have a unit on the left of the HQ or just above that. I'm more interested in like what Sigrid and the right front is going to do. Because Alsame has committed a lot on the left and basically gave up the center, so now it's all about the right side, I guess.
I mean, in theory, Sigrid could just swing back into the center and start threatening the barracks and threatening the tower even. Like, she could go to the flagstone tile that's one to the right and two above her, and that puts her in a position where she could decap. Oh, she wouldn't quite decap the tower next turn, but no, she's gonna go to the right, heal up, and threaten the headquarters.
She could also like move towards Wulfar and just like come from behind, I guess, and just like cut off his escape path.
Oh yeah, because if he can't,
stuck.
yeah, if he can't knock the headquarters down, then he has to pull back, and if she cuts off that escape route, then that's huge.
Yeah, but that kind of assumes that you defend the HQ, which is kind of a win in itself. So I can see why you wouldn't really go for it. Captain Rainbow just choosing to top off Sigrid in preparation for a push on the HQ, making a knight of their own. Knights actually have, if you clear the path for them, they can crit the HQ in 2 turns from the barracks, which is quite strong.
Right, here we see using the Northern Knight to take down that village. I genuinely don't know how he's going to play this turn out, because there's just too much stuff around the headquarters for him to push in effectively. Like,
Yeah,
Wulfar's strong, but he's not that strong.
and Captain Rainbow was careful to not put a knight in direct range of Wulfar, so that he couldn't like throw them on the mountain.
Yeah, this is actually like excellent positioning from Captain Rainbow. See the archer getting put into the balloon. Dog coming forward. He's going to attack the village. The center is empty, so now's the chance to push forward and try and capture properties.
But these properties should be like Alsame's from the capture phase, so taking them back just puts him even again. Although I'm noticing, if you look at the unit count, if you factor in villages, Alsame actually has a small lead, and you could say part of that is because he has an air unit, but it's also just because he's got more units.
Yeah, I mean, we only saw the tower capture this turn from Captain Rainbow, so...
Oh, actually Captain Rainbow still has not captured the village and the hideouts.
Yeah, I think that's actually a good decision in this case though, because it allowed him to push forward and capture the center. And that sword will eventually run back and capture the hideout in the village. But
actually, I really like this because lately there's been a lot of discussion about how to respond to HQ rushes like this, and I guess you just like don't send the sword to capture there and build knights is a way to go about it. And since Captain Rainbow had an economy lead anyways, he's not like there's no real disadvantage to him doing this.
I'm not sure how I feel about this positioning from Alsame, because Captain Rainbow's sword can kill the sword above, and that opens up both knights to hit Alsame's knights first. So sure, that leaves Wulfar, and he could yeet one of the knights onto a mountain, but both those knights are going to get hit before they can hit back.
I don't think he can reach the top knight, right?
The knight to the southeast of the headquarters can go through one forest and then up 3. Because he can kill the sword with his own sword first.
Oh yeah. No, that's not enough. He needs one more movement.
No, forest is 3 movement for a knight.
So he would land on the village after going through, basically.
No, because like right to the forest is 3, and then up 1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah, no, I was looking at the wrong one. My bad.
Okay. So he can attack both knights with his this turn if he wants to.
Yeah, and that since there's no mage to heal them, and only low HP infantry, they would have to retreat to heal. The top knight is in position to crit the left side of the HQ if it's left open, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Okay, so he chooses not to go for... Oh, he's actually just gonna attack Wulfar. Oh, and Wulfar is actually pretty trapped. So if Wulfar stands and tries to yeet something, he's just gonna get killed.
Yeah, it's not a bad decision. And imagine a dragon would be really nice here. Actually, there's no anti-air on the left side, and you could just kind of decap villages before Wulfar goes to heal and keep pressuring.
Wulfar has to retreat now because he'll just die if he doesn't. So you follow up the dragon, let's say, then okay, those knights from Alsame could attack, but they're also going to get hit by a counter attack. Like the full health knight's going to get a hit on something. And he still has this sword in a good position, so... Oh, and now we have Sigrid with Groove. So
Yep.
she is the anti-air on the right hand side.
I mean, do you really want to use it on a balloon though?
Depending on the situation, because he has such an income lead that a golem isn't likely to come out. Like, Alsame could build one next turn in theory, but he has to heal Wulfar.
That's true, but like say for example Sigrid grooves the knight, then her own knight would be basically uncontested.
Yeah, that
I'd
is
still
true.
like to see a mage just to have the option. And the heal is also nice.
Yeah. He has a lot of good things going for her right now. This is interesting. We're going to see, potentially, if this plays out the way it's looking to right now, Sigrid, a character who is generally considered one of the weakest commanders in the game at the moment, up against Wulfar, who's generally considered one of the strongest, and in a good position.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, if Alsame was playing Sigrid right now, oh boy, he would be having a good time.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. He would be doing really well, because he could just eat one of the knights. And that would be a big advantage for him.
I'm pretty sure he would have had the occasion to get grooved by now.
And I like this golem, because technically the golem could get yeeted, but there's nothing tile-wise that can kill it. Like, the flagstone's a threat to air, the mountains are a threat to knights, but a golem will just tank a hit from Wulfar.
Yeah, it's if you go for golem, you either have to do it inside your own army so that you can then kill it, kind of like a discount 10 replay, or you have to launch it far away so that it will take quite a bit of time to come back. So you basically take it out of the fight for a few turns.
I am genuinely loving this game actually right now, because we're seeing someone who I thought was a favorite to win the whole event. Like, I could have seen Alsame go the whole way, and he's up against the ropes against someone who, like, I mean, there was some discussion earlier on Discord about terminology, but I think we'll say like Captain Rainbow's just a newer player to the scene.
Yeah, I mean, Captain Rainbow has just made a name for itself through just these 3 weeks of tournaments.
So we're gonna see, are they able to keep this up? Because yeah, it's like, this is really impressive. And the golem's in such a perfect position to punish. Like, you can't really go aggressive into these knights. Like, you kind of just have to pull back. And all this time Alsame's sitting here thinking, the clock's running down. Like, it was 18 minutes 26 seconds at the start of this turn. It's gonna be 17 minutes, maybe even 16 minutes by the time he makes his first move here.
Yeah, and there's definitely moves you could do quickly, like, I don't know, like on the right side, like some swords don't really have much to do. They could just like attack that 7 HP sword.
Yeah,
I
because
will
like,
say
you don't...
Alsame does have a unit lead, so he's not completely out.
One of those is the balloon though. Which
Well,
I
the
think is,
balloon is quite relevant at the moment since it's a perfect blocker except for Sigrid Brew.
I guess the thing we could see is the balloon moves to block the knight from being killed by Sigrid's. Okay, so Alsame's doing the sensible thing of I'm gonna move all my like easier options like first, and then he's gonna think about the left hand side afterwards. But
Alsame probably needs to pop another air unit right now. Well, like a harpy wouldn't be bad. Even like another balloon wouldn't be bad just to cover for his archer.
oh, so that knight
Actually,
is like actually technically it could just die.
yeah,
Sigrid
there is
be
a knight crit on the top knight too.
oh, I was meaning the knight near Sigrid's. She can just eat it if she wants. I don't even know if that balloon placement's particularly good because oh, the knight crit. Sigrid has her own knight crit on that knight, so she doesn't even need to go and eat it. She can just run a knight into it.
Well, now that another knight came out, it will like counter crit the knight if it goes in. So I'm not sure if Sigrid can keep pushing because she doesn't have a lot of units to back her up. I think in this situation you probably just like keep decapping villages until you build more stuff.
I mean, I would think she wants to just thin her the unit count of Alsame. Oh, here we have the heal on Wulfar coming out as expected.
Yep.
And he just kind of has to run back,
He
really.
he is in double knight crit range and even triple if every side is open.
Oh yeah, you're not wrong.
I'm sure Alsame will see it, but still, he's gonna have to keep trading into this bigger army, which is not ideal for him. Yeah, he's covering.
And a mage comes out, which I think is a smart choice. It means that the backup heal on Wulfar can come out if needed. I like this sword use actually. Just
I don't really.
It's gonna die no matter what, right? So you might as well like sacrifice it.
Well, I'd say like if you're gonna like if it's gonna die anyway, you can at least lure your opponent's army into moving closer to your units so that you can punish better. Because right now, basically, Captain Rainbow is just free to take the free sword and reinforce his stuff near his HQ, and he doesn't really have to commit to attacking into Wulfar again. Also, I did mention a dragon. Terrible idea. Dragon would just get Wulfar Groove.
On the left hand side, but on the right hand side a dragon would be good for reinforcement.
That's true actually, because Captain Rainbow just needs more units present there.
And it could like one shot the stuff in the middle, so it doesn't even necessarily have to threaten the headquarters. It could just run around picking off units. Because one of the things that like really kind of threatens Sigrid in this position is she just gets swarmed and can't get out. Like sure she can eat and survive, but if she can't escape her position then she's just gonna die. And she won't build groove quickly enough to like escape a situation like that. So say a dragon comes out, picks off a bunch of units, starts thinning that unit count while she builds up her army. that forces.
I guess I don't dislike it.
But I don't know if she can really do much attacking into the side. And I just looked at the time actually, and they've both spent quite a lot of time on these early turns.
Well, the situation is quite complex with like HQs at stake right from the get-go, so I can understand like why they would take their time. But both like HQ pushes have kind of been neutralized right now.
Yeah, so we're gonna go into a more complicated mid game. So
I guess the timer is now like important.
yeah. I think like kind of obvious plays are use the spear to hit the dog from the south, because that's like a bunch of pretty good damage. And she could honestly just ignore the headquarters and swing center and start like threatening the army there, because it's a bunch of really weak units in the center. It's 2 dogs and 2 swords. One of the swords is kind of injured. You move away from your opponent's headquarters and you just kind of like, I guess, pin the commander like you were saying earlier.
Yeah, that would probably be a good move. Oh, Golem comes out, so yeah, Captain Rainbow just, I guess the income is like now somewhat flattened, so that's probably gonna be the last like big unit that he gets to produce without investing a little bit beforehand. Does go for the knight crit on the other knight, which I'm not really a fan of because you're already a little bit behind on unit counts.
Just run Sigrid. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how I feel about that either way, but what I am aware of is both of these players need to start hurrying up.
Yeah, 12 minutes left right now is...
And they've both thwarted the enemy's offense, so I think it is going to come down to trying to pin Wulfar. Or I guess in Alsame's case, like he could also do the same thing, like try and just pin Sigrid into this corner.
Yeah, and... Well, it's a bit of a well, a slight misplay from Captain Rainbow on the upper left, because the sword was like, he could have used the sword to capture the village after all that.
But he goes for the double knight. That's double knight crit, right?
Yeah, one on the knight, one on Wulfar.
So he deals quite a lot of damage. I think, yeah, swinging up and trying to either surround Wulfar or just like go on a rampage and tear through these villages, because while that's a good headquarter defense force from Alsame, it isn't great for being offensive. And actually, that's one thing about going for that knight crit, is it prevents the village decap. So essentially, Captain Rainbow is just removing the tools to be aggressive from that side.
Well, there is still the balloon that could like if Captain Rainbow chooses to go up left, kinda, the balloon will like make sure the archer and another unit can follow. And pushing into an archer isn't like the easiest thing to do, especially like with that much terrain around the villages in the middle and around the HQ.
Okay, so I think that's a good use of the mage heal. Alsame, they're both even on income right now. Alsame has a decent unit lead too, but I would actually say Captain Rainbow has more value in units. Like he has 2 golems out as opposed to Alsame, who just has a large swarm of swords.
Yep.
So, and sure, like he decapped a village,
Well,
but he's also, I think,
the
gonna start.
golems aren't active yet, so I like Sigrid retreating there, because when she's gonna come back, there's gonna be a golem with her. I would really like a mage or some form of entier to come out though.
Yeah, I mean that also adds tempo, right? Where like you can use it to reinforce. Like we saw this mage heal Wulfar and the knight. So a mage healing like both of these knights, for example, would allow like a much more aggressive play follow-up from them.
Well, mage heals on golems actually pretty good.
Oh, that's also true. So I guess that's the follow-up to getting the golems out, is to put mages behind them. But yeah, I see what you mean. Having a mage out
Good
at
luck
this
on the
point.
landing.
Ooh, so we're just seeing a tee off.
Alright, that's a decent groove, I guess. Kills the knights, damages the spear. Not the best, but he had been sitting on groove for like how many turns now?
Quite a few. I like the
I
positioning
think
from
maybe
that.
like 5 or 4 turns.
Yeah, he definitely not been able to use it for a few turns. I like the positioning on this knight next to Wulfar because, ooh, Archer goes first. Probably going to see the knight fall up. Yep. This guarantees the kill. So the thing here is that because of this knight next to Wulfar, there's no pressure on the mage. The mage is completely safe now. And the injured knight is actually completely fine too.
Yeah, and the golem can't reach quite yet for 1 more turn.
Yeah, so it has to... I don't know if we're going to see it move to the forest or the flagstone first. I guess it depends on how aggressive Captain Rainbow wants to be. But I think we're now in a position where Alsame is going to show his strength more as a player.
I think Alsame is gonna have to show his strength a little faster because he's below 9 minutes now.
This is true. He is one of the players that can play in a very fast format though if he needs to, but
That's true.
I do think that he is going to struggle because, yeah, like that's not a lot of time. Captain Rainbow has a... If Captain Rainbow just plays faster, and I guess having less units is the advantage there. As strange as that sounds, like it does put you at a unique position and as far as that goes.
I'd like Captain Rainbow to just continue pushing Wulfar away. Cause like that's where you're winning the front. If you look at where Sigrid is, like there's a big army coming for her right now, so she probably just needs to stay put and like grab the dogs in front of her.
Yeah, Golem can kill
Turn
one
9
dog.
capture.
Yeah, Golem kills one dog. I guess the sword kills the weak one.
Yeah.
And like she can just kill, I guess, the sword in the forest above her. It does put her in a
That
night
would
crit,
be
but
yeah, maybe from the left.
yeah, that's a good point. You can still be crit, but there's a golem to back her up, so that would just like annihilate the knight.
Well, there is like weak units that can potentially suicide into Sigrid, so the weakness of Sigrid is that if you can kill her in 1 turn, her groove doesn't help her at all.
I'm gonna say there's like a slight optimization on that play from Captain Rainbow. He could have attacked with the Northern Knight first, because then the one in the south would have more health to wall. But
I don't think Alsame is going to keep attacking into the knights, to be honest.
that's fair. Also, we see this like southwest village get captured, and I think this is actually kind of a nice play from Captain Rainbow of slowly just like capturing, doing the back capture throughout like the game. Just doing it on his own pace. But yeah, we're about to see Alsame's unit count go down. Moves the sword north? An interesting approach.
Maybe he wants to cover Sigrid when she hits the sword, maybe?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, it blocks the knight crit. I mean, Archer sword moves forward and kills that sword, but...
Yeah, but then, like, the sword doesn't hit the... The sword doesn't hit Sigrid, I guess? Or, like, the mage has to spend its turn hitting the sword and not healing?
Yeah. Actually, something I'm kind of curious about. So there's this knight on 37% health right now, next to a mage. If Sigrid moves up to the left-hand side of that sword, that knight can crit her.
Yeah. Actually, the bottom spot might be safer.
Yeah, I mean, cause and she doesn't actually go for the kill. She just
Yeah, that's even safer.
yeah. Something I'd actually kind of like, something I would go for anyway, would be having a harpy come out and threaten the two knights, or at least like the knight next to the maiden. That's not gonna happen, but it would have been like an interesting follow-up play.
Yeah, a harpy is kind of like it really is relevant only in the HQ defense front. Otherwise, it's like really slow and it has to spend multiple turns walking while flying to where it wants to get because of all the flagstone. I'm not saying it's not like viable or anything, but it's just that usually when you build an air unit, ideally they can attack the turn they're created. Which is why you always want to have mages near when you're attacking near a tower.
I like what this mage is actually allowing Alsame to do, which is just to pull back constantly and heal. Like every turn Captain Rainbow's attacking forward, like his knights are getting weaker.
Yep.
And he's kind of run out of units to capture buildings with up north. He has one on both fronts even.
He's had one sword for like 3 turns now, I think.
Yeah.
Which is why I was pointing out that the sword should have probably captured the village earlier. But I mean, they're still like quite even on income. But now I really want to see a mage or something from Captain Rainbow since that dragon came out.
Yeah, even double mage this turn is like potential. Mage harpy could also be good. And something to note as well is that Alsame's had a pretty good income like stability throughout like the middle of this game.
Yeah, he was he had the lead for a bit. Oh, look at this massive diagonal fronts covering the whole map.
And this is going to turn into a bloodbath pretty quickly. That said, he's literally just abandoned his headquarters.
Well, there is a dragon that could fly there, but... And the villages are still capped, so that's like one layer of protection before night crits come in. We see a balloon come out, which, I mean, I guess he wants to get his sword to the front now. It's a bit like, I'm still a little concerned because maybe he won't have the money to heal both knights and still create units. He doesn't necessarily need a mage south because Sigrid can act as anti-air for the dragon.
I want to check. He could potentially suicide a sword to kill a knight, which I'm not entirely sure if it's a good idea, but it would definitely remove like a much stronger unit from the field in exchange for.
Well, the knight is in a forest, so I'm not sure it's a guaranteed kill.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Although 17% health, he's not getting a lot of defense from that forest right now. That's probably less effective than being on a plane at full health.
Yeah, well, since swords do 20, there's like the lowest roll is still 15, so it's not guaranteed.
Yeah, that's true. It is a fairly risky play to go for.
Captain Rainbow is also like getting really low on time.
Yeah,
and
I think both of them are really.
Yeah, Alsame did start playing faster, so he is aware of the time situation. But Captain Rainbow is still keeping up his current pace, so I'm not sure about that. Also, Captain Rainbow didn't use Groove yet. There's simply been like too big of an army every time. And now that there's a dragon, it's like even more threat to like, which is kind of the problem of Sigrid is if the game reaches a certain point, even if you go into groove a unit, there's so much stuff behind it that it just kind of kills you. I really like capturing the village there, because if you look at the flagstones, it means the golem could potentially like walk right towards the HQ, and the dragon can't really reach it.
Yeah, that is nice, and he gets 2 mages. That's. Oh, and a balloon. Oh, yeah, he's had a balloon for a little while, but I say a little while. He made one earlier this turn, but.
I mean, it's been a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I mean, he really just. I think he actually has to go for the headquarter push now. He's really running low on time. Like, he wasn't playing this game quickly enough to just kind of brawl this out. And I saw this earlier, is the 2 knights can knight crit the 6 health knight and finish it off.
Well, that mage on the left was really important because if it comes out to a very low time situation, if you don't have anti-air ready, the dragon can just run at the HQ.
I think next thing is just move the golem to the right. Or? No? Interesting.
Ooh, that's...
It can still take out that village on the right hand side. I guess this means it has more... It's not under threat from the dragon.
I think it is, because with the archer you can kind of easily like remove the sword in front of it.
Yeah, actually that's true. Although I guess if it goes for the golem, then... Ooh, Wulfar's gonna have Groove fairly soon. If it goes for the golem, Sigrid will just eat the dragon.
Yeah, but I think Alsame like probably takes this trade because he has so many more units. And well, he could also like go for the like easier golem to take care of on the left. But I think it's he just gets a lot of value out of killing the golem even if he loses the dragon, because it just removes any pressure on the HQ.
Oh, follow up from that as well.
He's going for it.
So this is actually looking very secure for Alsame right now.
Yeah.
Like, he's taken one of the golems down. He could even just surround Sigrid.
Well, now that the mage came out, he can't like just put a balloon to. Well, he could like have a balloon below the dragon and then another unit. I guess it's a bit complicated, yeah. If he wants to protect the dragon, Sigrid is probably going to die if she goes for it.
Oh, and lots of sword as well, so he can put the balloon below Sigrid. Yeah, and just drop units. I think Sigrid's just dead. And for as big as a factor the clock was in this match, the witch comes out, right? She's very, very dead.
Yeah. I mean, you can like get her out, but then she doesn't really get to eat the dragon. You're low on time, you're so behind on units.
How about you?
It's quite a lost situation. Oh, and he's just eating the balloon.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like the right call. You've got Archer crit, Witch Hex first, probably a whole bunch of units to suicide.
Yep.
And I think while Captain Rainbow played a very good early game, I think when you look at a player like Alsame, he has just a very good understanding of how to play like tactics games and does very well in the mid game, which is like where we've ended up.
Well, what happened is Captain Rainbow's played the early like kind of base rush-y phase quite well. Well, he wasn't going for base rush, but he defended against Alsame's really well. He also got like an income lead for quite a while. Main problem was that Alsame just started grinding out the army, and when he's that like some experienced player like Alsame will just out trade you like all the time, and it's really complicated to keep up while fighting. I wonder if we're gonna see a Wulfar Groove kill from Alsame.
I think that order was a bit wrong. I don't think you should have hit with a dragon that soon. Like, there's more swords that could have been suicided.
Yeah, I don't think you. I don't think he needed.
Super level of optimization.
Yeah.
Fair, but oh, is he gonna actually try and kill with the? With the dog as
Captain
well.
Rainbow's own dog. Wow.
That was pretty good. Very stylish way to end.
Borderline BM, I'd say.
I think if you win, and that was just a bit of a swag end rather than like being bad.
Yeah, it was pretty stylish. No, I have a pretty free use of BM. It's because of kill sauce, but yeah, he's in the chat. He rates the BM 4 out of 10.